Going to church, I only remember them preaching a little bit out of Genesis, Proverbs, Job, Psalms, and Revelation. My question is, sometimes Matthew, Mark, Luke, if it's like around Easter.
Easter,
My question is, why not take people from the front of the Bible all the way to the back? And why do we use one verse and preach on that one verse for 2 hours, maybe 3, maybe even 4?
I promise you, at my church, we studied the book of Genesis through Revelation.
Oh, wow.
Okay. We did that probably 3 times over my 14 years of pastoring. I was cut from a different breed. So there's a couple of reasons why. I'm trying to be diplomatic.
I'm sorry. Am I starting it?
No, because I do this all the time on TikTok. So you ain't doing nothing. It's me. So, but this is one of the things as a doctoral student, one of the things what I'm doing is just really looking at like the skill set of clergy.
Mm-hmm.
In most of our churches, preparedness is not a requirement. Skill set is not a requirement. Training and knowledge, it's not really a requirement. Okay. Most ministers have what we call a calling. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we take our calling and we run with the calling. So you have people, quite honestly, who don't know how to study the Bible.
Okay.
They don't. So a lot of people seem to think that pastors they're lying to us, they're keeping things from us. Some of them might be, but I'm telling you, as a person who has been in the church all her life, and I've been around some of the most elite pastors all the way down to the storefront pastors, most of them do not even know how to teach the Bible correctly. Yeah. Because they've not been taught themselves. So we rely on these callings. So that's why you're getting that, let's just hop around the Bible kind of thing. Okay. And so I'm telling you that if most of us were to read the Bible and or teach the Bible from the beginning to the end, most people would not probably stay in church very long. One of the reasons why it was easy for me to exit out of the church is because I did read the whole Bible. I've read the Bible from cover to cover 7 times over my journey, over my 28-year history as a Christian. But if you don't read it, which is why a lot of people stay in the pews too, because they don't read it either. So if you don't read it and you don't study it and you don't study any other writings outside of the Bible, and you're just sitting there waiting on pastor to give you a word, you have no knowledge of what's in that book. Mm-hmm. So the Bible even says that my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Mm-hmm. So we have a lack of knowledge in a lot of our churches. And that's why you're getting that whole skip around kind of thing. Because the people were actually reading the Bible and they were reading it through a non-biased lens. First thing that's going to happen is you're going to have a whole lot of questions. For example, one of the first questions I asked myself, this is when I was a teenager, why are there 2 creation stories in the first couple of chapters of Genesis? So why did God get so angry and create the flood and drown everybody out? There had to be children and babies, pregnant mothers. What kind of God would get so angry that he would do that? So I've been asking questions from day one. But if you don't allow yourself to go in that Bible and study and read and research and read other materials, you're not going to even have the wherewithal to ask these questions. So this is why you're getting these sermons that are just a scripture here and a scripture there and a scripture over there and skipping 5 books and that's why. Well, so there's a lack of knowledge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
No, I was just going to say, like, we're taught you don't question God. And even in the Black household, we're not really given the floor to go back and forth with our parents. We are taught to be dictated to. This is what I'm telling you to do, and you better do it or else. Right? Now, these children coming through, i.e., 3 of mine, they're different.
And both of mine.
They're built different. They
Yes, they
gonna
are.
challenge it. They gonna challenge it. They gonna challenge it. Till they wear you out. These
Yes.
kids coming through are different, and
Yes.
and that's not a bad thing. I
No,
want people to
I
know
love
it's
it.
not a bad thing. It's a part of evolution. We be looking like things ain't how they used to be. Why do we want things to be in the past? We're supposed to always go forward, and I think that's a lot of our problem. We live in the past too much. It used to be. It's not that way. And
And
change
it's gonna take our children to change the world because
for sure,
it's gonna take them to change it.
for sure.
Yeah, because and so so multiply that in the church. If we come through an era where you not only you can't question God, you can't question your parents, you can't question the pastor, you can't question. I was getting ready to cuss because I be cussing. You can't question. You can't question. You
Me
can't
too.
question. You can't question. I know I'm trying to be nice on your show. You can't. So you sit there with all these bottled up because I know people have questions,
Mhm.
but the brain is a very powerful instrument. It's a powerful creator that we've been given inside of our brain. And so if you're taught that it's disrespectful, that it's that it comes with punishment to question those in authority, then you're not going to question. And this is why there are people sitting in the church dying spiritually. And I'm gonna tell you, there's pastors sitting in the church dying spiritually too, because they know internally,
Mhm.
about shadow work. Well, in the church, we don't know what that is. We don't know.
Mhm.
We just call that the devil. People are sitting in the church and they need to do some major shadow work. They need to work through their cognitive dissonance, right? Because
Mhm.
they have 2, 3 different sets of beliefs. They're
Yep.
trying to believe one thing and do another thing. And so what I'm doing at Life After Church is creating a platform, a space for the people who do want to have a safe place to ask those questions, to think out loud, to say, I had this thought. What do you think about this? Where they're not going to be judged and the fear of God is not going to be breathed on them. My desire is that people I'm not here to tell people what to believe, whether they need to stay in church, leave church, what religion they should. That's not my job.
Right.
My job is to create a safe community for people who want to work through their spirituality. They need to be able to do that without being judged, without condemnation, and without fear, because they don't have that in most of the churches, unfortunately. And
You
it's
have.
really sad.
I'm sorry. You only have 4 minutes, right?
What time is it?
2:42.
That is crazy. We can go until right before 3.
Okay.
As long as it's right before 3.
Oh,
That went
okay.
by so fast.
I don't want you over there burning rubber into the
I
next
know.
thing.
I know, right?
um, what was I going to ask? Let's see. It was a deep question. Oh, and you kind of addressed it about people staying in the pulpit, but I'm in the congregation, so I kind of want to dive into that. So when we go to school, right? We
Mhm.
get programmed from K through 12. After you 12, you graduate. If you choose anything other than that, that's a choice. Okay. But the point is, there is an exit period. If why don't people think there is an exit period to church? One, and two, why? And this is not I'm sorry, pastors, I ain't trying to, get in on y'all hustle
You ain't
or
trying to
whatever
comfort
y'all,
nobody, right?
I ain't
You
trying to
ain't trying
step
to
on
comfort
nobody's
nobody.
toes. I'm just saying, if I can read the book, because really it's got to go by my interpretation. If I can read the book, why do I need you? I don't know. I just,
So you already answered your question though. So the same way you go through K through 12, which is a indoctrinated time frame for us all.
mm-hmm.
How many parents? I'm talking about like decent parents. How many parents tell their children you can drop out in the 6th grade?